Michael Carter almost skipped his high school reunion in Dallas. As a single father working 2 jobs, he felt embarrassed about his modest clothes and aging car. Still, his daughter Lily encouraged him to attend. She reminded him that success was not measured by money, titles, or expensive possessions today. When Michael entered the elegant hotel ballroom, conversations suddenly became quieter. Former classmates looked at his simple suit, worn shoes, and inexpensive watch. Some recognized him immediately, while others whispered. Michael smiled politely and greeted everyone, refusing to let their judgment make him feel smaller than he truly was today. His former classmate Brian approached first, laughing about Michael's old car parked outside. Brian now owned several businesses and enjoyed reminding everyone about his success. He asked Michael whether he was still struggling financially. Michael simply said he was doing well and changed the conversation, avoiding unnecessary conflict that evening. Another classmate, Vanessa, joined them and mentioned her promotion at a major investment firm. She casually asked Michael what he had accomplished since graduation. Michael explained that he worked in logistics and raised his daughter. Vanessa smiled sympathetically, as if parenting and honest work were somehow disappointing achievements in public. Michael noticed several classmates comparing watches, cars, vacations, and expensive homes. He felt increasingly uncomfortable, but stayed because Lily had insisted. She believed her father deserved one evening where he could remember his younger years. Michael watched the crowd carefully, realizing how quickly people judge success by appearances. During dinner, Brian stood and began telling embarrassing stories about their school years. He exaggerated Michael's financial struggles and made jokes about his old clothes. Several people laughed. Michael remained silent, remembering the difficult years he had spent working nights so Lily could have opportunities he never had at work. Then Brian asked Michael whether he had even managed to buy a home. Michael calmly answered that he preferred investing in Lily's education and keeping his finances stable. Brian laughed again. Someone nearby whispered that Michael had clearly failed to become successful after graduation, making him uncomfortable today. Michael decided to leave early. He texted Lily that he was heading home, but before reaching the exit, the ballroom doors opened. A tall man in an immaculate dark suit entered with several assistants. Conversations stopped as people recognized him. The billionaire guest slowly scanned the room for someone nearby. The man was Alexander Grant, a nationally known billionaire and founder of Grant Global Logistics. Several classmates immediately rushed toward him, hoping to introduce themselves. Brian straightened his jacket and prepared to impress the wealthy businessman. Alexander ignored the crowd and continued looking across the ballroom with intense concentration now. Then Alexander suddenly saw Michael standing near the exit. His expression changed completely. He walked past executives, investors, and former classmates without stopping. Everyone watched in confusion as the billionaire crossed the crowded ballroom directly toward the single dad everyone had mocked again. Michael looked behind himself, wondering whether Alexander was approaching someone else. Instead, Alexander smiled warmly and extended his hand. He thanked Michael for helping his company during a crisis 3 years earlier. The room became silent. Brian's smile disappeared as Alexander explained what Michael had done for him. 3 years earlier, Alexander's logistics network had suffered a catastrophic software failure during the holiday season. Thousands of deliveries were delayed, threatening contracts worth millions. Michael, then working as an operations coordinator, discovered an overlooked routing error. He stayed awake for 36 hours and helped rebuild the schedule manually. Michael never received public recognition because he considered the work part of his responsibility. Alexander, however, had never forgotten him. He explained that Michael's solution had saved critical contracts and protected thousands of jobs. Alexander had been searching for him ever since, hoping to offer him a new opportunity. The room changed instantly. People who had mocked Michael now stood quietly, realizing they had misunderstood him. Brian looked uncomfortable as Alexander asked why Michael was standing alone near the exit. Michael shrugged and said he had simply decided to leave after feeling unwelcome there tonight again. Alexander looked toward the classmates and calmly explained that true success was not always visible. A person could wear an inexpensive suit while carrying tremendous responsibility. Michael had raised a daughter, worked honestly, solved impossible problems, and never demanded recognition. That, Alexander said, was genuine achievement today. Alexander then offered Michael a leadership position overseeing a new logistics division. The salary was, but Michael did not immediately accept. He asked about travel requirements and whether the position would allow enough time with Lily. Alexander smiled and promised flexibility because family remained important to him. Brian approached Michael afterward and apologized. He admitted that he had judged Michael because of his appearance and financial situation. Michael accepted the apology without bitterness. He explained that everyone faces different struggles and success means different things to different people. Brian thanked him for responding with dignity. Vanessa also apologized, realizing her questions had been unnecessarily cruel. Michael told her that life had taught him not to measure people by what they owned. The reunion slowly became less about competition and more about honest conversations. Several classmates began sharing their struggles instead of pretending everything was perfect. Later that night, Michael called Lily from the parking lot. He told her what had happened, and she laughed happily. She reminded him that she had always known he was successful because he had never stopped showing up for her. Michael smiled, realizing she had understood him better than anyone. Michael eventually accepted Alexander's offer, creating a chapter for himself and Lily. His reunion had begun with embarrassment and judgment but ended with unexpected respect. The billionaire had not changed Michael's worth. He had simply revealed it to people who had been too distracted by appearances to see later.